Hello.
Hi.
Before we started, I was saying, I'm snippy because I'm doing a keynote this afternoon, so I'm a little bit nervous. So, but I was still super keen to do our Friday 50-50 because I love it doing it so much. I was like, I'm a bit nervous. I don't know how I'll do on Friday 50-50. And then I was like, nah, F it. I want to do it anyway.
Yes. Yeah.
I want to do it anyway.
Yes.
So we'll have a
I
little
didn't think you were
break.
snippy.
What was that?
I didn't think you were snippy.
Oh, that's very kind.
You're welcome.
I'm wearing my sparkly
I thought you were
jacket.
focused. Focused.
I am a bit.
Focus is good. I appreciate focus.
Well,
I'm a focused
I remember Hugh Jackman saying that 2 weeks before he did the Oscars, he was a bit snippy with his children, and I thought, well, if Hugh can be a bit snippy. I mean, yeah, it's not the Oscars, but it's keynote. It's 300 people.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
Well
I'm looking forward to it and
yeah,
not.
it's so good.
Looking forward to
So
it and
good.
not. Yeah. Last session, that's why I'm wearing my sparkly green jacket, because I've got to figure out every strategy to keep these folks awake, because they will be toast. I'm the last session of a 2-day conference, and in 2 weeks' time, I'm the last session of a 2-day conference. So we're getting a bit of a theme. It's a compliment on one hand.
It really is.
Yeah, not this one. This one was because some selfish speaker has to fly back to the East Coast and be powerful and important, so they had to swap me, but understandable. In 2 weeks, the boss said, oh, no, I like having you last because you leave a nice flavour for everyone. And I was like, that's wonderful, and it's really not a great position, and most people have left to pick up their kids. So, you know. So anyway, that's why I got my green sparkles on, which I will or won't wear to the actual talk. And then I was looking at you and me, and I'm overdressed, and I was thinking you and me today look like me and Andy going out for dinner.
Should we explain what I'm wearing for people that aren't looking at us?
On
So
YouTube.
I've just got jeans, sneakers and a T-shirt on.
Right, and I've got a very sparkly green jacket,
flowy pants,
my sparkly black shoes that I wear everywhere.
Yeah, you're looking so pretty.
Thank you.
And your hair's all done, your makeup's
done, makeup's done. Like we're at the next level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is you and Andy.
Yeah, me and Andy. So he'll go, what do I need to wear? And I'll go, oh, look, if you can add a shirt to that, I'll accept it. But it basically always looks like we're going to 2 different events. I'm not very fussy, but a little bit fussy. Well, he finally brought a sports jacket, and that changed my life.
I got a call from Andy the other day.
Did you?
Yeah, because he just listened to the episode where we were like, I bet Andy won't listen to this.
And I wish he wasn't here.
And then he called me and I was like, oh, my God, you listened to it, didn't you?
Oh, hello. Love you. Is that why you shouted out love you when he rang before? You're still trying to make it up to him. He was fine. He's used to the abuse. No, actually, I was thinking, I said to him yesterday, I said, you're becoming a better and better husband. And he said, oh, thanks, love. He didn't say it back, but I feel like I'm trying, you know. Yeah, there's little abuse going on, so that's good.
Okay.
That's very good. So apart from doing this keynote, I have just come back from being over in Queensland.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I got the call to go to Innisfail.
Yes.
And I think we talked about it off air, but I don't think we talked about it on the last episode. So I was meant to meet one of my best girlfriends. She lives in Coffs Harbour. We were meant to meet on the Gold Coast. And then I was going to go to Brisbane, which I did end up doing, to see my friend's one-woman play, The Journey to Burnie. She did a one-woman play with songs. And as soon as I saw it on Facebook a few months ago, I went, I've got to go to that. Even though I'm in Perth and she's in Brisbane, I must support the dream. Yes. Because she's living her dream, I'm living my dream, so we must support one another. So off I toddled. Anyway, before I got to that, a week before I was meant to go, I get a text message saying, look, I won't be too late, but I had a bit of a migraine yesterday, so I might be a couple of hours later than you expect today. And I said, oh, no, it's next Thursday. And I got back a text, oh, no, it's today. And I said, you've got the dates wrong because I know when the play is that I'm going to, and I booked everything around it. And my friend said, scroll up a few texts. Oh, my God, it was the worst feeling when I saw the date and she had it right and I had it wrong. Oh, my God.
So you were meant to travel to meet your friend. And you'd got the completely wrong dates.
By a week, exactly a week.
And you booked flights and everything.
Yeah, I was in Perth, living my life. I was about to go to do training with Andy. She had moved everything so she could be there. So the weekend I was coming, she's chock-a-block. So she's a midwife, yoga teacher, family, mum, kids, husbands, all happening. She'd moved everything so she couldn't change her dates.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of apologising. She's a kind soul and she knows it was really an accident,
Yeah.
so she did forgive me pretty fast. But our last Friday 50-50, we were talking about the breakthrough I'd had around Little Tamara,
Yeah.
and Little Tamara didn't do very well with the mistake.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah.
Right?
I understand.
So I'm trying to talk to her more because I've realised she's the key to all of this stuff I've been talking about, self-esteem, security, anxiety. It's all around me looking after her. It's wonderful revelation. I'm almost am at the breakthrough post. And what I realised was I was driving down the hill. I was with Andy because we were going to training. And I said, oh, God, I've stuffed this up, you know. And he goes, oh, that must feel terrible. And it was interesting because I said to him, you're making me feel worse. Like he was trying to empathise because that's what he likes from me. If something goes wrong, he likes me to say, that sucks, that's horrible, that must be the worst. When he does it to me, I just feel worse. And I said, oh, I know you're trying to help, but stop that. Anyway, I go, oh, I'll check in with little Tamara because adult Tamara's not that worried. She feels bad and wrong.
Yeah.
But, you know, these things happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, I checked in. Oh, my gosh, she was flipping out, like so anxious. Oh, I've done the wrong thing, and just highly, highly anxious. So then I thought, all right, I'll comfort her. So I said, it's all right. These things happen, and that didn't do anything. She was like, you don't even understand. And then I thought, I'll give her a hug, like metaphorically, of course, and she tensed up and went, don't touch me. I'm too anxious, get away from me. And I thought, oh, that's very interesting because Sam will sometimes do that. Anyway, it took me a few minutes, but eventually what I got to was what she wanted me to do was just go, I know you feel very bad. I know you feel very anxious. I'm not going to try and change that, and I love you as you are, right? It's all right that you're anxious, and I'm with you, and you can be as anxious for as long as you like, and I love you even though you're anxious, and you're all right. And as I say, of course, I feel the calm feeling, and that was the key to me as an adult and child not feeling quite as upset about my mistake. And then we went to do the training with Andy, and that was fine because it was his training, not mine. So, you know, my anxiety around training didn't come up. But I then had to go and train. I actually had to go and train a group of high school children.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so it's my favourite training gig at the moment. They are year 11s going to year 12. They're the student leaders
Nice.
at a high school. And I do a couple of hour session with them on leadership, emotional intelligence, etc. Right?
Yeah.
And it's satisfying because they're awesome. Like one of the first things I always share with them is they had to interview to be on the leadership panel. They have to work extra days at the end of year 11. They have to orientate the year 7s about a week and a half into their holiday. They're just awesome. And I said to them, look, I've got to be honest with you. I was meant to be on the student council, but I was so naughty by that point, the teachers didn't vote me on. And we didn't even have to apply. Like I said, you guys are well ahead, right? Anyway, why am I talking about that? One, because they're inspirational. I'd give the school a shout out, but normally, you know, I don't like to in case. Yeah. But they're very impressive. And, but of course, little Tamara didn't want to do the training because she doesn't want to do that anymore. So I was nervous the day before and leading into the night before. And then I thought, I'll see if I can comfort little Tamara. And I said, do you want to do the training tomorrow? I already knew the answer. And she goes, no, it's the last thing I want to do. And I said, well, do you want to come with me? And she said, yeah, but you have to do the training, not me. And I said, okay. I said, do you want to be with me on the stage? And she said, no, can I sit like in the wings and watch my iPad? And as you can tell, I've got a very vibrant inner life with little Tamara. And I said, yeah, it's fine. And she goes, I want to come because I wouldn't mind watching what you do, but I don't want to do it. I'm so sick of doing all that. And I said, all right, you relax. I'll take care of it. And what happened was my nerves went away, really almost, not completely, but I would say about 90%. And actually I'm going to do live little Tamara work now because I'm quite anxious about my keynote. I feel okay, but I do feel anxious. How does she feel about it? Yeah, no, she's flipping out. She definitely doesn't want to do it. It's too many people, too much pressure. She's a little bit tired. Don't even know if she really wants to come. No, she doesn't want to come. Actually, I might leave her here if you don't
leave
mind.
her here with me.
Yeah, leave her here with you.
I was thinking that exact
same
thing.
Yeah. She can stay here. She feels better now. Yeah, she just wants to watch one, if that's okay. She doesn't mind talking to you if you want to, but really she can just be somewhere cosy.
Introvert, happy, quiet place.
Yeah. Maybe a knee blanket.
Yes.
You know, cushion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, good. That's awesome. Yeah, she's happy now. So the adult Tamara will do the talk because, you know, the adult Tamara can do the talk. She'll be adult Tamara. I'm a little bit nervous, but manageable. And if she's here, most of my nerves will stay here with her.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, it's very functional. This whole new level is very functional.
Yeah, it is.
And in looking after her, that what felt like unfillable hole of lack of self-esteem has almost completely flipped around.
Yeah.
Almost completely.
Yeah,
It's,
through that acknowledgement.
yeah, and that's where it was coming from.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just going to tell
It's the strangest thing, but I totally feel, I don't know if it's because I'm in the room with you, but I totally feel what you just said. Like I can totally see the difference in you.
Yeah, it's really, really a wonderful realisation, like really probably even bigger than I'm giving it credit for, because you know when something is really painful, so you put a lot of tension on it, and then when it gets fixed, you only feel grateful for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I think we've talked about before, when you feel sick, you're just praying to the gods, make me well, anything but this. And one day after getting well, you go, now what else am I worried about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got that kind of flavour to it. Like I
And do
feel
you also
like
think the energy you would have wasted trying to keep little Tamara, you know, well, I don't have time for you now, little Tamara, just stick in your box, you know.
Yeah.
But the fact that you can take a few minutes to acknowledge what's going on and then step away from that seems incredibly efficient. I do like efficiency.
Yeah, I don't mind efficiency either. That's why, you know, I was thinking about when I have my sayings that we use here, part of the reason for them is I find them incredibly efficient. I'm very pragmatic. I'm like, what's going to get us the best result the quickest?
Fastest, yeah.
And I think for her, I think you're right, acknowledging what she wants, but it was sort of a double layer. Initially, it was not even realising she was in play.
Yeah.
And then realising she was in play was the first level of going, oh, hang on, I'm ignoring this whole part of me.
Yes.
And now in checking in with her and finding the difference it makes, it's quite extraordinary. It you know, I love being able to share it with everyone here because in case it's quite common for people to have issues with self-esteem and issues where they go, no matter what I do, I just don't feel good enough.
Yes.
And for me, the access has come from this childhood stuff. Now, that won't necessarily be true for everyone, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's another piece of the puzzle potentially. And as someone who's done a hell of a lot of self-development work, you know, I'm 50, about to be 51. You know, I've looked at Little Tamara before, but this is by far the next level. And realising the historic stuff with her and what had impacted me, and wonderful, really. Like, as I say it, I'm like, oh yeah, it's really wonderful, bigger than I've even acknowledged it for, in terms of the peace it brings, you know.
Yes.
Because she just needs looking after. It's not even hard to look after her. Like, I can leave her with you. Thanks for having her, by the way.
Oh, I love. Oh, more. Welcome. Welcome.
Yeah, she likes being here. Yeah, actually, that's part of the reason why I like doing the podcast so much, because she really likes coming here.
Yeah. She likes me.
She does. She does. Yeah, she does.
I feel a kindred spirit.
Yeah, she does, because you're very kind to her and you look after her and you laugh at her jokes, and that's totally true. She feels really acknowledged by you. Yeah. So, yeah, she feels really happy here. Fascinating.
Yeah. She must have some really keen insights too. I think we should talk more.
With her?
Yeah.
With her. The adult Tamara went, no, I've got to get on with my list. I can check if she wants to say anything.
Not today. I mean, like offline.
Oh, okay. No, it doesn't even need to be offline. I just, but right now she's like, actually, when I said, have you got anything to say? She said, I already said I'm tired and you told me I'm staying here. I don't want to do anything. And I'm like, okay, yeah.
Yes.
You don't need to say anything. That's fine.
Yeah, great.
So, yeah, that's wonderful. And then connected to that wonder is the wonder of having gone over east. So I made my mistake.
Yes.
My friend has forgiven me. Thank you, Jesus,
friend.
and her. We've figured out how we're going to catch up in early December.
Oh, great.
When I go over east to do my week-long meditation retreat. I'm going to go and see her before it.
Okay.
And so for both of us, that's a soothing balm for our loss, because we find it hard to get together.
Yeah.
So now we're both happy and excited and all is well. Anyway, of course, once she couldn't join me because of my date stuff up, I had 2 days spare. And originally I thought, oh, well, I'll just go to the Gold Coast myself. I call it the healing powers of the Gold Coast. Most people see tall apartment buildings and don't feel healed. I love a tall apartment building, particularly a white one. I find them very healing. Most people say, oh, is it the ocean you find healing? I go, yeah, it's more the white apartment building.
Really? That is
Yeah.
strange.
I imagine myself in the future with gold earrings, fake tan, blonde hair, like
Right.
bouffant, and
I
I
see
live
it now.
there, right? And Andy's there, but the only problem is I don't know if he wants to be there. But he might be like the little downtrodden husband that's walking behind me as I've
Carrying
got
your
my
bags?
yes, and I've got the bouffant blonde hair, and I'm an unnatural shade of brown, and I've got big
And none
gold
of your
earrings.
face is moving.
Oh, have I gone that far? No, I feel like more I've got the old hag wrinkles.
Oh, right.
That
From too much
the
sun.
powder gets stuck in.
Yeah.
But I'm wearing white and it's elegant. I don't know if I'll go that full way, but I could.
I see it now. I see it. Yeah.
So, of course, talking about fake tan on my face made me think about a certain event in world history at the moment.
Oh, no, let's not go there.
I was going to say
I'm still getting over it.
I'm not going to get over it. And it's not a political podcast. So I thought about it and I thought about talking about it. But there is one way I'm going to talk about it is in one of my poems, but that's all.
All right.
So whilst that was happening, I got the call to Innisfail.
Yes.
So stuff up with my friend, meant to go Gold Coast, get the call to Innisfail. Why am I called to Innisfail?
why are you
It's
called
banana
Innisfail?
farmers and huntsmen. We spoke to Hazel. We know about Innisfail.
Yeah.
Anyway, the reason I got called to Innisfail is not because of Innisfail town, although I had a very nice time there talking to, Peter and Bob and Marjorie, running into a few farmers there. It was lovely. Bought some excellent things at the Innisfail Rockmans, which is about to shut down, tragically for the staff. 3 for $70. Oof, good deals. Anyway, and now I'm distracted by Innisfail Rockmans, but let's come back to the story. So when I looked on Airbnb, and looked at the accommodation, the stuff in Innisfail was not one that would call to you. It was 60s spare rooms with floral furniture and vinyl floors. And I was like, this can't be the call.
Yes.
And then as I kept going, I found this all glass, louvered window, single room cabin in the rainforest up in the hills.
Okay.
And it was like, that's what's calling. Not even dear. It was dear to get up and back. Andy very kindly allowed the extra allowance, which I'm very grateful for. Anyway, off I went, caught the plane landed in Brisbane, spent the night in an airport hotel, got up in the next morning, went up to Cairns, landed in Cairns, went, I'm home because far north Queensland's my favourite place. Got the hire car, which was heaps better than I thought it was going to be. It was this fabulous hybrid four-wheel drive. It was heaven. And off I toddled down to my accommodation thinking, why have I been called here? And as I got closer and closer and then arrived at the accommodation, I thought it's two things. Very largely it's just a pure gift energetically for me to be in a natural environment that I love more than anywhere else. So I already love far north Queensland. We got married in Port Douglas. Anytime I think of the Daintree or Cape Tribulation or Mossman, I just, is that my happy place? This place where I stayed was that plus every other element of nature that I enjoy. So it was, Andy calls them bucolic, so now I've got into that. It's bucolic is like rolling green hills, like in England. So it had bucolic hills. It had cows that mooed very loudly while I was in my thing, really with gusto, like, and you go, what is up, buddy? Like you're in the middle of a field. Why are you so, but
Vocal,
like, one night I would play the tape, but it'll be too frightening for everyone. I was sitting on the balcony of my little thing. And of course it's in the rainforest. So there's many, many creatures.
Yeah.
And you hear the cicadas, right? And they're loud. But then, like, they became deafening.
Wow.
It was so freaky. I can't even explain it. They went from, I can't do a cicada noise, but everyone knows that noise. Yeah. Then they went to rock concert loud. My ears were ringing. And I recorded it for Andy and sent it to him and said, play this on a high volume. It is incredible. I really want to play it now, but I don't know if we need to. Anyway, then I'm like, okay, this is feeling a bit wild. The place was super cute, had all the louvered windows, the bathroom's open plan outside into the rainforest, right? So I messaged the owner and say, hey, one of your reviews said that it's a very beautiful joint, but as it gets dark, you better close the louvers because the insects can get in with the light. They're attracted to the light. He wrote back, we don't have much problem with insects. I didn't believe him, and I'm very glad because I closed the louvers at sunset, and for the rest of the evening there were suicidal moths, cockroaches, birds and bats landing against the louvers trying to get to the light. About 6 of the smaller ones made it through. I had some sort of hornet thing, a flying ant. And then, of course, I had to go to the toilet in the middle of the night outside. So I get my phone light and I go like this. And as soon as I come outside, you know, like Hazel's story, on one wall there's a huntsman. Above me's the world's biggest grasshopper. There's a cockroach scuttling away. There's little spiders, like almost like stepping stones between me and the outside bathroom. And then I get into the bathroom and I have to go. Like, I seriously considered going in the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
But I was like, unhygienic, Tamara. You can't live with that. You know, there's not even any Dettol here to fix your shame. So off I go, and I'm sitting there with the bathroom light on, and I've got a cockroach perched next to me on the bin. I've got 2 grasshoppers by the light. I've got a huntsman in the corner. A bird or bat is flying above me so quickly I can't tell what it is, running into the glass, trying to get into the house. Then there's thumping like a kangaroo, and there are tree kangaroos there. So I go, that noise like that. I go, okay, that's rhythmic. That's a tree kangaroo. And then I hear stomping, walking stomping. And do you know what that area is called?
Oh.
The Cassowary Coast. Do you know anything about cassowaries, Danielle?
Oh, I saw one at the zoo the other day when I went with Sam.
Cassowaries kill people, Danielle.
I didn't know that. They are big.
The last fellow who was, I shouldn't say speak ill of the dead, but, you know, what do they call it?
They kill people.
Yeah.
You're not joking. That
I'm
wasn't
not
just
joking.
a metaphorical.
The last fellow that had one as a pet at Cape Tribulation, it killed him.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he won the Darwin Awards. It's rude, sorry. I know you're dead, but come on.
Good
So
story.
there's this loud walking, which clearly isn't a human. I'm in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm weeing as fast as I can. And I'm like, if a cassowary comes into the light, I've got nowhere to go. They're going to get me. Now, they don't. I don't think they actually chase, but they can. What they do is they kick you and kill you with the big hook claw on the back of their, like a rooster, but that big.
Yeah.
And I'm doing like a dinner plate size for those not watching on YouTube. So anyway, I was like, you cheeky bugger, that owner. And none of the reviews mentioned the insects. I think people that go there are all like, you know, burly, backpacking, bushwalking. What's an insect between friends?
Yeah. Yeah. Or, you know, have that sort of expectation that it's going to be like that.
Well, it's probably realistic.
Yeah.
So then I was like, do I mention it on the review? But I thought, no.
But did you get out of the toilet? I need to know.
Oh, yeah.
Did you escape?
I
We're on
made
the edge
it.
of our
Yeah.
seats here.
I made
There's
it out
a cassowary
alive.
coming.
Yeah.
You're peeing as fast as you can.
So imagine me peeing as fast as I can. The cassowary doesn't come into the light. I felt like I was going into the light. I get up off the toilet, run back like leaping over the spiders, slam the door, lock the door because that keeps me safe from the cassowary, and then try and make the louvers even more shut to keep out. It was eerie. But
even Grayson was laughing at the story.
you know you reach something when Grayson's laughing, right?
Laughing.
But yeah, I mean, absolutely beautiful. Like, I don't even want to tell the audience where I was because it'll get too busy.
Right.
But it was heavenly.
Well, I don't know.
Well, I did add a level of don't go there. Perfect. I'll add the address to the show notes via Danielle. Anyway, so that was why I was there. I was there as a gift. I was there to feel like at a cellular or energetic level at the most gentle place after my recent travails and facing some of my biggest things. It was like, you can come here for a couple of days and just suck in this beautiful, perfect, idyllic nature.
Yes.
And speak to some farmers and look at real estate and suggest to Andy that we buy a house in Tully, which is a little town that's illogical to buy in.
Yeah.
But I haven't totally given up that dream. So it's useful that Andy hear this because it maybe comes back around. Because then, you know, because I've got to go back there because I love it.
Hey, there was hills in your land of plenty.
There was mountains.
Mountains. Were they the same sort of mountains or different?
Okay. So you've added a level of intrigue to the story. So in the land of plenty, so for those who don't remember that, you do this meditation when you're doing the William White Cloud work. Danielle and I did this one with both William White Cloud and True North, a company in Queensland. And And when you come out into the land of plenty, you see stuff, right? And for me, I saw on my right massive mountains of the shape and size of the Dolomites in Italy, which I
Right.
desperately want to go to. And to the left are sort of green valleys with flowers that led down to the left, and they were, Andy would say, fecund. They were lush and green. There was lots of nice things down there, but it felt like one of two paths. And when I think of Innisfail and how it felt, that felt like that path to me. Yeah. But when I was in the land of plenty for longer and I went over the top of the Dolomite Mountains, then there was like this desert with jewels and gold and Saharan kind of silk tents. And the feeling over there, I can feel it as I say it. The Innisfail side was soft and gentle and not particularly remarkable, and it would lead like that down the hill to the end of my life. And the bit over the mountain was alive and exciting and not harder actually, but more vibrant, more alive, more
dynamic. Yeah, I felt it.
You can feel it, right?
Yeah.
The jewels are more dynamic, the tents are more dynamic, these pink silks, you know, a little bit like our flowers, these bright pink silks. And do you know what?
It's very alive.
It's very alive, but it's very different. It doesn't have the softness of this other.
And both of them are comfortable. Yeah. Interesting.
They're both lovely, and one is, more exciting. Interesting. So, the reason I didn't push too hard about the Innisfail properties, I thought, I need to play more with this land of plenty and see what actually shows up.
Spend some time in there.
Yeah. Is it that?
Yeah, spend some time with the symbolism and draw that out a little bit further. Yeah, because each of my land of plenties has built on the other and expanded.
How often do you do one?
Once a year.
Okay.
So it's like a once a year thing, and then you make choices around what you've seen.
Okay.
And you sort of follow that breadcrumb. You know, you follow those breadcrumbs, and then you get to the next year and you do another one and you get more breadcrumbs, you know. It's like, this is what you're meant to see now. Then you'll see what you need to see later.
Do you know what? This will make me sound like a nutcase, but that ship has sailed. It was so funny. I was on the plane leaving Cairns, going back to Brisbane to see my friends play, and the land of plenty came into my mind, and I thought, because I saw it that I'm up in this area and then the end of my life comes in this gentle travail down the valley, I thought, oh shit, I hope I don't die on this plane. Is this literally the left-hand side that I've taken? And I was like, cut that out. And then, but I did feel good when he landed in Brisbane. I was like, okay, good.
So you met some interesting people there too.
Well, just imagine farmers.
Yeah.
Because
you love a natter. You love a natter. And that's what, when you were telling me that, even that day we went to lunch and we talked about the podcast and you were interviewing the lady at the restaurant, I thought, she's a natural at this.
That's right, but I didn't notice I was doing it. It was only because you said it.
Because like, even now you've come back with stories about Marjorie and all these random people that you met. Well, you were a collector of stories.
Well, thank you. I was I was like, why am I here? Plus I'm delighted, plus I've got space. And so everyone I ran into, I was in that sort of joyful mode where, of course, you get the best back from them.
Yes.
So, you know, the lady who did my nails, I'm not flexible enough, but I have fluoro pink. Grayson just covered his eyes. I had fluoro pink toenails because I wanted fluoro pink toenails because I'm into pink at the moment.
Your flower.
It does, colour of transformation. So I got my nails done like that, but of course I got my fingernails done elegantly and subtly. Yeah. Anyway, I'm talking to this girl in the nail salon who started out not being very friendly. And then I said to her, what language are you speaking? And she said, I'm going to say it terribly, Hmong. It's a group of people, a race of people that started out in China, got exiled from China and now live in Laos and Thailand, but they're really a Chinese cultural group. And I said to her, that's so funny because I guessed you were Taiwanese with all my Asian experience because I could hear the Chinese in what you were saying and I guessed that Taiwan would sound quite Chinese. And she said, yeah, because our language comes from Chinese. Anyway, as I spoke to her, she totally changed modes. Actually, the keynote I'm going to do this afternoon is all about it's called You're Worth It, Owning Your Value. Yeah. But when I looked at it as a topic, I thought it's one thing to think I'm all right or I'm great, But a lot of times this esteem piece can actually come from treating people well. Like you can feel better about yourself.
Yeah. You see people. That's your gift. You see people. You really do. Like, you know, how many times I've told that story about you interviewing the lady at the restaurant. You saw her. I was busy talking to you about what we were having for lunch, and then you stopped to have this conversation with this lady who owns the restaurant. You made her day. You included her in our conversation. You see people. Same with that lady who must see hundreds of people who are all talking about what's going on with them.
Yeah.
And you get your nails done and you stop to say, tell me a bit about you. What makes you tick? Where do you come from? That country, that culture's very interesting. Tell me more.
Oh, wow.
And you saw her.
So you just made me realise two things. That's very nice to hear. I really like that being a part of who I am. It's why Stephen Fry hated meeting me and then didn't hate meeting me. As I said, did you have a nice time?
Yeah.
So he switched from
you see
OF
people.
to, okay, you're just asking me if I had a good time. But you know what else you made me realise? If that is true, and I think it might be from what you're saying, that is sometimes why people don't like being with me because I will see what's going on.
You do. Gee, that is a good coaching skill too, isn't it?
Well,
because you really see. You really see on another level, you do.
I don't think I've ever had my mouth open for longer in one of our podcasts.
No.
Because as you're talking, I was like... But
it just came to me.
But it makes me realise on both fronts. I've had experiences where people love being seen by me, and then I've had experiences where people are like, get the F away from me.
That must be why I like you so much, because I have an invisibility complex and you see me.
That'd be right.
That would be right.
And I've always seen you.
That is so right.
That's right. I've always seen you.
Because, like, you can call me anytime. I will always pick up the phone for you. You know, being introvert, sometimes people ring and I'm like, I'm done talking. I will, because you see me.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is a lovely thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What a wonderful gift you have. Like, it's a true gift. It's not like, oh, yes, you know, like you connect with people and you see them really. I've seen you in action, but I hadn't connected the dots before until you were talking just then.
That's cool, man. That's cool. I really love that.
It's a superpower. You got a superpower.
Yeah, thank you. I really like it, and I really would like to dial it back when I'm with people that don't want me to do that. Yeah, because what am I doing? I'm seeing the person, I'm wishing them well, but I'm also challenging the stuff that I feel like, oh no, that's bullshit.
Yes.
And of course, I had this happen. My auntie is
like,
very
don't challenge my bullshit.
My auntie is very much. Anytime I was with my auntie, I was just saw her yesterday. Anytime I'm with her, I feel like there's nowhere to hide. So at times when I've sort of been lying to myself or living in a way that's not very fulfilling, I've had periods where I'm like, oh, I don't really want to see my auntie, because she'll look at me and go, what's going on? She'll go, what's going on? I go, nothing. She's like, what's all this? I go, nothing. And then I'm like, anyway, got to go.
Yeah.
So yep. Okay. Okay, yeah, well, it's good overall. But apologies for those who I've seen and they didn't want that. One girl I went to high school with, fabulous girl, really one of the funniest people I've ever met, and really unwell, mentally unwell, really sad. It's a real tragic story because she's awesome. Anyway, many years ago, she doesn't go out much anymore, but many years ago we were together at a catch-up, and I was sitting at one end of the table and she was sitting the other, and she's incredibly psychic. So I take all these things with a grain of salt, but she really is incredibly psychic, and it's part of her difficulty of living on this earth is her sensitivity, right? So I'm sitting at one end. We know each other as more acquaintances than anything, but we've known each other since we were kids. And I was just looking at her from one end of the table, and she points like this and goes, "Stop getting into my head." And I went, "Sorry." And she goes, "I know what you're doing. Cut it out. I didn't invite you in." And I went, "That's true. I'm sorry." She called me out, man. I was like, yeah, that must be happening all over the shop. Yeah, right. Oof. So, overall, we'll take it as overall a good, but it also is good for me to be responsible to mind my own business if I'm with someone that doesn't want me analysing silently, you know?
Yeah, that's fascinating. Fascinating. So you went to Innisfail.
Yeah, had a wonderful time.
Had a
wonderful time. Saw my friends play, which was just delightful. I said to her, you look 10 years younger than you did when we knew each other 20 years ago. Yeah. So her play was called Journey to Burnie. We're going to try and tour it. I don't know if I've got contacts in Perth to make it happen, but I'm going to try.
Oh.
And
I'm
she's
a producer now, Tam, so you know.
Oh, there you go. How wonderful. Also, her wife's sister's partner needs an introduction as a jazz pianist over here. So we've got 2 jobs we need to do.
Jazz pianist.
Jazz pianist. Yeah, he's incredible and he wants to
Sorry,
travel.
that's not what I heard. But I'm just...
Jazz penis that goes, does it dance? God, you just reminded me of the most weird thing. 100 years ago, 25 years ago.
Now Grayson's really laughing. Let it out, Grayson. Just let it out.
No, because we've got to have our one special episode.
Okay.
You can let it out, Grayson. But many years ago, 25 years ago, I went to Italy as a backpacker. And my cousin, my beloved cousin, she and her brothers, who I love also, their dad was Italian. So they're half Italian. I have no Italian. I pretend, I speak it a little bit. I love the food.
You talk with your hands.
I do talk with my hands a lot. Hey, come on, allora. That's my favourite Italian word. Passeggiata is my second one. Oh. That means let's go for a walk, after dinner, passeggiata. And then you go, allora, which means like, well then, it just totally works. Anyway, I'm in Italy and one of my cousin's cousins is looking after me in the most begrudging fashion anyone can look after anyone. He was so generous. He dragged me around with him. He was given the job, you got to look after Tamara, or Tamara, as I'm known over there. So he did, but he wasn't the most wonderfully mooded person. He was trying to get work at the time. He was stressed. Anyway, I'm really struck by his generosity, but he wasn't a lot of fun. Anyway, we go to Siena as a part of our tour that he helped me do, and he meets up with a group of friends, so he's feeling better. And in the middle of the Siena Square, where they do famous things and races and art and all the rest, there was a dog. And this dog wasn't wagging its tail, it was wagging its penis. It was a black poodle. I still remember it. And the thing I remember more than the wagging penis, I don't know why the nerves had gone in the wrong direction on this dog, was my cousin's cousin laughing like he didn't have a worry in the world. He couldn't stop laughing. He kept saying it over and over. And for the rest of the trip together, he'd crack up and then say, he'd say in Italian, remember the dog with the penis? I go, yeah, I remember. Brought me joy too. Yeah, so anyway, that's a hard segue. Jazz pianist. So I went and saw my play. Then I saw one of my beloved girlfriends in Brisbane and spent the night with her, which is a total delight. And then I came back to Perth and I thought I was okay being back. Then I felt a lot of grief being back and I thought I was missing Innisfail and that I just wanted to be there. But actually my clever husband said, are you actually just sad because you didn't actually get to see your friend because you stuffed it up? And as soon as he said, I went, of course, I disassociate in such emotional states. I don't care about my friend at all. And then I realised I really do and I was sad I'd stuffed it. And here we are, about to do a keynote. So speaking of a keynote, we've got to wrap it up because Grayson's helped me time it because I still got to eat lunch, have a cup of tea, get to Optus, make sure my lipstick's okay, remember what I'm talking about and talk. And I've never done a keynote after a podcast before. But I just wanted to wrap up with my poem I wrote in Innisfail. I wrote about 10 as I do now, but this one...
10? You're prolific.
I am prolific, but it's whether there's the quality.
Oh, shall I publish you on... we could do a Substack.
Oh, yeah, Substack. I find Substack very confusing. I follow Sam Harris on there. So this was my last night in the place I was in outside of Innisfail is called Beatrice. And I wrote, last night, dear Beatrice. And I thought, before I go to sleep, I have to write this. I don't know if it's really a poem, but it sort of sums up how I was feeling. I am struck by the delight of where I lay above bucolic fields topped with rain-forested mountain-eaters. It feels disrespectful to use the diminutive term as I find these hills so inspiring, but when you've lived in Peru, if you know, right? Here is the balance of the earth I most love, and I enjoy it as it burns and a criminal has the codes. Change of flavour. I feel entirely lucky and sad and blessed and afraid. I mourn for us all as my life is an unfolding joy. What the actual fuck? What can I do and why am I here? I can use this idea. I care too much to help to be liked. It's an interesting line. Am I in this place to make a decision? The decision is to love me as I love this place and to love others whatever their thoughts. Recognise that I and them are beautiful and more portable than any place. And that's it.
That's lovely.
Yeah, thank you. Look, it was a bit of a mic drop at the end talking about the elements of the political world, but the thing I wanted to end on was whatever's happening that we can't control, and we really can't, the strongest feeling I've had is all I can do is be loving, have it that people have different thoughts, different opinions, but my job is to be at least tribal as possible, most loving, most understanding, and make that kind of noise that helps other people to be the best versions of themselves. So as I share what I'm going through, hopefully those that are inspired can grow themselves. As they grow, they impact people more positively. They're less monkey and more human. Saw Mark Manson the other night. Talk about it next time. It was cool. It was cool. He talked about us trying to rise above our natural monkey state.
Oh, interesting.
We'll talk about it more.
Next episode.
I asked him a question too, and at the end of my question he said, I am with you, before I sat down. Thanks, Mark Manson. Didn't come on the podcast, but was with me at the mic. Fair call. Thanks, Danielle.
Thanks, Tam.
Delightful. See you next time.
See you next time. Bye.